Focused. Definitely am focused. Hey guys, xthedarkone here, and welcome to another edition of the VRains Train, where I sit down after just watching Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains, and I talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains on this show I call VRains Train. I've said VRains too many times, so let's hop on board the VRains Train one more time and talk about turn 27. Naoki Shima, the fighter. So another crisis is over. A bit quick. I thought the whole another saga was going to be just that. I thought it was going to be a long-term thing. Like, I thought it was going to be a whole arc. But it was only a couple episodes. Blue Angel solved it all. Done and dusted. Wipe our hands with it. We're done. Wipe our hands with it. There's a website up now in the Yu-Gi-Oh! World with the antivirus software on it. So it's more like inconvenience now. It's like, why is John late for work? What do you mean you've been turned to another? We'll get him to download that. The software's on. It's like, just get it. Tell him to be in tomorrow, alright? Tell him to get himself sorted, but first thing tomorrow morning. So we start the episode with the dude, the blue-haired dude, and he's looking at the dead bodies? Big question mark? Are they dead? They're kind of dead. They're pretty dead. He's looking at their bodies, and he's just like, right. But it's very interesting because he seems quite angry. He's like, I will capture the Ignis. I will do it. And he seems very determined. Like he believes what he's doing is the right thing. Like, there's a strange determination in his tone that makes me think maybe he's not the bad guy. And the Knights of Hanoi keep doing things. They keep teasing that maybe they're not the villains, or maybe they're doing the right thing but in the wrong way, or vice versa. We're just going to have to see what happens. We then cut to Yusuke at school with his mate, who I've never referred to. I've never known his name until now. It's Naoki Shima, I think his name is, Naoki Shima. And he's like, look mate, the dual club's disbanded, or we're on a break. The another crisis may be 30, but the Knights of Hanoi are still about. We got to team up. We got to stop them. And Yusuke's like, that's a dumb idea. He's like, well, come on, only Playmaker and Blue Angel are doing it. We need help. We need to do something. And he's like, right, there's 3 reasons why you shouldn't. Like, 1, the another program's been sorted. 2. I can't remember the second reason. 3, you're scared, mate. You are scared. And he's like, what? I mean, you're scared. I can just tell. That's why you're going to ask me to join you. Because you're scared. You're too scared to eat yourself. And he's like, well, I shouldn't have spoken to anyone. He runs off. He goes to the class. He goes to the duel club. He has a little flashback, remembering how he first got there, and how, he was only allowed in because, the president liked his enthusiasm and stuff, but that was it, because he says he wants to be the best duelist, but he wants to be the best duelist, but he doesn't believe he can be the best, and he doesn't have confidence in himself, and he's a bit too scared. He is a bit scared. And then he gets sent, his dual disc turns on, and he gets a package sent to him, and he activates it, and it's Cyber's Wizard. And it's saying, become one with the Cyber's PM. And he's like, what's PM? Well, Playmaker. And he thinks, well, Playmaker sent me this card. So that gives him the confidence to enter the VRains. And we then see his character, who at the time, he's like, my name's Lonely Brave. Who I think was pretty funny, and he gets there, and he keeps getting, he sees all these people getting attacked because they're hunting for Playmaker, and then this random Knight of Hanoi like, who are you? Never seen you before. And he's like, oh, I've been chosen by Playmaker. He pulls out Cyber's Wizard, like, he gave me this card, and he's like, I am the one chosen by Playmaker, and he's like, that's interesting. He's like, oh, whatever, right, well, I'll duel you, and you'll tell me where Playmaker is. So they go, and this duel was hilarious. This was I really like this duel. It's probably my favourite duel of the whole show. I was laughing my head off. It was so funny. Basically, both draw their cards, and they both have really bad hands. But they're both using old school cards. I really like the Knights of Hanoi was using Steel Swarms. He got 3 level 5 Mantises, I think, and Hercules level 10. And he got a hand destruction, and then it went over to him, and he had 3 green baboons and 3 yellow baboons, and he's like, and they both look at each other going, I've got a great hand. And what's even better, what I really liked about this duel is it's one of the only, I think it's probably the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel in this history of the anime that actually sort of demonstrates the reality of dueling. Like how often I've never seen, to my knowledge. I mean, I've not seen every episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Of all 5, 6 series, I must admit. But in what I have seen, I've never seen an episode where they've drawn and just genuinely had a bad hand. And those, we've all had it. Everyone who watches it, everyone who plays Yu-Gi-Oh! We've all had a hand like that. We've all had a bad hand. And it was so funny as well, like watching Lonely Brave keep the brave face on while like the real him's probably bricking it, going, oh, what's he gonna do? And I thought it was funny. It was great. It felt like they properly, pointed out that this does happen in dueling. It won't happen to the protagonists, but it'll happen to these guys. And it was like, I looked at that thinking, that is the most believable, realistic duel I have ever seen in my life in any anime of Yu-Gi-Oh! That is the realest it's ever gotten to me. Having them have the bad hand, and he tries fixing it and he doesn't. He then uses Soul Charge to get out his big Steel Swarm, and then this guy summons Cyberse Wizard. And Yusuke, we cut to Yusuke, he gets in the trailer, and his mate's like, Yusuke, you need to come see this. And so he gets in, and he's like, what the hell? Whoa, why has he got Cyber's Wizard? And he pulls out, I've got the card right here. And Ignis is like, yeah, that is because it's an empty card, mate. No data in it, the data's been taken out of it. So somehow the data has been taken out of the Cyber's Wizard and sent to Lonely Brave. I'm going to call it Lonely Brave because it's easy to remember. Gets sent to Lonely Brave. He then's like, right, I know. So he summons Lonely Brave. And again, I think this turn is a great metaphor for how modern, I know that the Steel Swarms aren't like old school. I'm not going to call them old school, but they're from a different generation of Yu-Gi-Oh! If you will, like the way from when that first came out to what they are now. The fact that he had this big level 10 monster and it was essentially beaten by Cyberse Wizard, one of the newest cards out. To me, whether that was on purpose or not, I don't know. But to me, that was a great metaphor to how OP some of this new stuff is, and how powerful some of this new stuff is compared to it's like, oh, look at this level 10 3200 attack monster. Yeah, well, level 4 monster can now destroy it. It's like a great example will probably be stuff like using Arm Dragon level 10 and then having the Neo-Spacian Grand. It can be destroyed by a Neo-Spacian Grandmo. Well, not destroyed, but you know what I mean. That was another example of that. Like Neo-Spacian Grandmo can just basically go, oh, you really strong monster. Okay, back to your hand. You know what I mean? So it was a great metaphor. Personally, that's what I took away from it. It's like, yeah, this is new and it's beating all the old stuff because new is better apparently. So after he beats Knights of Hanoi, he changes his name. He becomes a bit of a hero. He's like, my name is no longer Lonely Brave. I'm now Brave Max. And he logs out, and the guy who's also been scanning the duel this whole time is like, right, I'm going to use him to find Playmaker. So the guy Naoki, he's leaving school. He's like, yeah, I'm ace. He gets abducted, and he's locked in a warehouse. And he's like, right, you're going to contact Playmaker. He's like, I can't contact Playmaker. I don't know how to do that. And he's like, right, well, I'll use you to lure him out. Then he gets forced into the VRains. And he then meets Faust. Believe it or not. His name's Faust. And the weird thing is, I only remember his name's Faust because my friend Faust from the third wheel. So that's the only reason I even remember that name. Because by now you probably figured I'm really bad at remembering names for characters. But yeah, Faust, he gets him in, he gets him on this roof, and he's like, right, you're apparently Playmaker's mate. He looks up, he's like, Playmaker, I know you're watching me now, mate. Go duel me, or I'm going to duel him, push him off the bridge. Get down here now. So Playmaker's like, right, you work on finding his location. I'm going to go in and save him. And he goes, and his duel disc's gone. It's like, well, where's my duel disc? I put it down. We then, the monitors all switch, and turns out, Ignis, who we saw early on in the episode doing some chortling with his little robot thing, has modified Yusuke's duel disc to transform into a drone? know how to process that. I mean, what are you doing? Why is it a drone? Why? He's like, and all you know what Yusuke said to this? You know what Yusuke said? You know what Yusuke, he looked at him going, what the hell are you doing? He didn't say that, he just went, oh, I thought it felt a bit heheavier. Thought it felt a bit heavier? It's got drone technology now. What do you mean a bit heavier? Bellend? It was so bizarre, and he's just flying there, like, but they're looking for him, and he's like, I'm gonna, I put in a tracker in the Cyberse Wizard data, so I'm tracking it. And Playmaker's like, oh, so it's almost as if you were prepared, almost as if you knew this was gonna happen. And he's like, don't accuse me, mate, don't accuse me. I don't know what you're talking about. So either Ignis did send the data over to lure out the Knights of Hanoi, or the Knights of Hanoi hacked, somehow got the data. I don't know. It's not been revealed yet. We didn't get that far. But yeah, essentially the guy, going back to Faust and Brave Max, they start doing a turbo duel thing. A speed duel. And he's like, right, jump on. He's like, no. He's like trying to grovel out. And he's like, the guy who's been in trust with Playmaker's will is a coward. And then he does that whole sort of, flashes of people saying he's a coward and he's scared and he's not good enough. And then he sort of slaps his cheeks. He's like, right, let's do it. So they about to start a duel, I guess, and then Playmaker's like, right, they found the location, Ignis has found it, and he goes like, Playmaker, he's like, Ignis, come back. Thing flies back, attached to his dual disc, and he enters the VRains, and that was the episode. I like this episode. It was a good laugh. I'm surprised, again, the another saga has now ended, and we're now moving on to something else. I mean, I thought that was going to go a bit longer than it did, but this episode was very nice. It was very refreshing. It's not a filler episode. It's sort of a weird fusion of like filler details, but it's kind of continuing the narrative as well. But it feels like it was a filler that then they're like, let's make it out. Let's insert it into the narrative, and it's working quite well. I really like it. I think it's nice seeing other duels without Playmaker. It's nice because a show is not just the main character; it's about all the supporting characters. And this guy was a supporting character. He's been doing a lot of stuff in the show, for Yusuke. He's been like Yusuke's. So he's been like a character for Yusuke to interact with. All the other characters have been characters for Playmaker to interact with. But Yusuke's in his school has only really interacted with a handful of people, and this is one of them. And he's essentially the personality that Yusuke is lacking in that sort of double. I think that's why they keep being paired up together in scenes, because they kind of work out well to each other. But it was an interesting episode. I enjoyed the first duel that Lonely Brave had with the bad hand and everything. I thought it was really funny. I didn't watch the previews because I don't. I'm looking forward to it though. I don't know what to expect. We still don't know who sent the details, whether it was Ignis. It makes sense if it was Ignis and he was trying to lure the Knights of Hanoi out, because how else would they get access to Cyberse Wizard? He's the only real one who could have done that. So I think it was. I'm going to say it was Ignis who's done that, and he's trying to be a bit coy about it. Other than that, great episode, and I think you should all check it out if you haven't already. I hope you have already checked it. Don't watch this first and then check it out. I'll ruin it for you. No, watch the episode first and then watch this. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.